Tech won the regular season matchup between these teams all the way back on December 30th, 79-56 in Ruston at the Thomas Assembly Center. Tech, the designated home team, in white with blue letters and numbers. Lofton puts it in to start the game. Marshall, the designated away team, in green with white letters and numbers.
Keep an eye on the big men down low, because it's not only Kenneth Lofton Jr. that can start the scoring, but he's going to be there defensively as well.
There you go, Lofton putting it up for Kobe Williams. Back in his home area, Williams hailing from Dallas.
Miladinovich, number 21 in the green. Obina Ochili-Killen, number 25 in the green. Both will be tabbed with covering Lofton at different points throughout this ballgame.
Williams, a superstar for the Kimball Knights back in his high school days as Louisiana Tech sends out the same starting five as it did in the regular season finale. Hurd doing the same thing, same starting five as their most recent game yesterday against FIU. It's all Lofton so far. He has all 4 Louisiana Tech points. 4-zip. Just over a minute elapsed in the first half, and that's Tavion Kinsey.
He knows how to put up big numbers in this building. Expect him to pull the trigger a little bit more. He's just a 16% shooter from beyond the arc, but in tournaments like this, games like this, he tends to put it all on the line.
Lofton driving left-hand hook, no good. Byers. Marshall throwing it up from 3 again. Kinsey, 2 quick triples.
Almost as if it were on cue for Tavion Kinsey. Just 14 of 88 entering this ball game, but he had 23 points in the first round against FIU. Very talented junior. Feels like he's been in Huntington for quite some time, but he's making a name for himself again in Frisco.
And Mari Archibald off the glass, the senior from Deltona, Florida. This is his 153rd career game for Louisiana Tech. That is a program record.
You think there's a little experience behind that?
Incredible. Him and Xavier Christian, 5 years together here at Louisiana Tech. Lofton knocked away. The leader of the Marshall Thundering Herd, a proud alum of this program, Dan D'Antoni.
8th season at Marshall, of course, winning that conference tournament back in 2018. Earned a trip to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 31 years. And an alumnus of Marshall has come back and really done some great work. Over 140 wins throughout his storied career, even in just less than a decade.
Point guard back in his playing days.
Oh, and a phenomenal one at that.
The NIT in 1967 and 68 from a long range. That's Keaston Willis, the former Incarnate Word Cardinal, an offseason transfer and one of the biggest additions to this Tech roster.
Over 1,000 points in his collegiate career, and you know the Bulldogs are happy to have him out of that transfer portal. He was second team All-SLC a year ago.
The freshman of the year in his rookie season with the Cardinals. 9-9. Hectic action back and forth. Lofton Jr. fighting down low. Swirls around and leaves the rim. Byers. Long. Lofton coming down with the rebound. His 3rd already. Lofton throwing to nobody. Willis immediately tapping his chest and blaming himself. Eric Conkle, his 7th season at Louisiana Tech. Last year's Conference USA Coach of the Year.
And very deservedly so. You look at what he's done in Ruston, spent the previous 4 seasons on the staff at Miami. And now he has really turned Louisiana Tech into a formidable program. And not even just formidable, but they do nothing but win.
And Ochili-Killen getting in on the action for Marshall. He had 15 in yesterday's win, plus 12 rebounds. Kobe Williams spins, finds some space, missing with the left hand. Andrew Taylor thought about it, pulled back out. Back to him. Byers from distance, good, over Kenneth Lofton.
He is a lethal three-level scorer. He can catch fire under the brightest lights. His career high came against this Bulldog program. His season high against the top-seeded UAB Blazers. When the lights are brightest, expect Michael Byers to show up.
6'10", 225 with rain.
And stop me if you thought this game was going to be a battle of the trifecta. Look at Marshall. 14 points, 12 of them have come from beyond the arc. They've hit 4 of their 5 shots from downtown, and then the Bulldogs have countered with just 1, but they've only taken 1 shot from downtown, so who knows what kind of fire they can light from deep.
Mari Archibald ends the scoring drought. Louisiana Tech within 4. Archibald had 14 points in Louisiana Tech's last game at UAB last Saturday, and they lost to the Blazers, close out the regular year. Kinsey pushes it back outside, and here's Taylor, the redshirt sophomore from Corbin, Kentucky.
He is so much fun to watch. There are a couple guys on this Herd roster who certainly can light up the highlight reel.
Kinsey's short jumper rolls out. First action for Damian Bradford today for Louisiana Tech, the freshman from Jonesboro, Louisiana, as Lofton pushes his way near the basket, but flying in to make the block is Anachili Killen.
It's going to take a team effort to slow down Lofton. Lofton, 270 pounds, backing his way all the way into that Marshall thundering Herd paint. You need some help sometimes. That time it was Anachili Killen that came over the top.
Byers took the long-range 3, NBA distance, way off the mark. How about Willis from deep? No good on this end.
Really impressed with the way that the Thundering Herd have come out and controlled the boards early on. A Louisiana Tech team that knows how to rebound. Marshall's really struggled in that category throughout the year.
Rolls out for Anachili Killen. He's 1 for 3 from the field in the early going. David Green coming off the bench, as he has every game this season. He's denied down low by Killen. Pulling up Taylor off the back of the iron.
Marshall 9th in the conference in terms of rebounding margin. La Tech a little bit better, 7th.
Lofton with a couple of pump fakes. It doesn't go. Taylor takes it out to the side.
We've only seen 1 personal foul to this point. Lofton being berated down low. The Bulldogs sideline and the Bulldogs faithful. Good crowd on hand for Louisiana Tech. They keep wanting that foul to be called, and they haven't gotten it yet.
Good on the runner by Michael Byers, the freshman, the senior, excuse me, from Houston, transfer from Mesa Community College.
He had 17 points in the first round of last year's tournament against Rice, and then in the first round this year, he added 14 points. He knows how to play tournament ball.
There's the former Kimball Knights. Louisiana Tech, great crowd. Most of them coming over from the Pelican State, but surely some have traveled very short distance from Dallas to see the hometown product.
And you look at 3 of the 5 starters for Louisiana Tech: Port Arthur and Lofton, Sulphur Springs for Willis, and then Kobe Williams out of Dallas. Texas very well represented. Of course, being back in the Lone Star State, they've got a ton of family in attendance.
Lofting it up, Kinsey. 23 points last night to lead the team. He's already up to 9.
I think there's a typo in the stat sheet. He's not a 16% three-point shooter. There's no way he's 3 of 3 from downtown in this one.
56% as a team so far from distance for Marshall. A runner no good off the glass from Bradford. Marshall will push the pace and kick it out to Kinsey again. This time he does not take the shot, instead deferring to Killen. No good. Willis Great body control by Willis to get that bucket.
All the way through the contact, kept his back to his defender, was actually ended up with a very good look at the rim.
Baseline triple rolls out. Williams again, loses it, poked away. It'll stay.
Pulling the trigger often, and for the most part, it's paid off.
And watching Dan D'Antoni's press conference last night following the victory over FAU, he said, you know, a lot of teams complain about having to win 5 games in 5 days, but for his team, he felt he kind of needed that first game before facing a team like Louisiana Tech. Got the victory, worked out a few things, and certainly improved ahead of this one.
It's kind of one of those age-old arguments of the rest versus the warm-up. And back and forth, you're going to see that throughout Conference USA play because there is such a discrepancy between the top seeds and the bottom seeds having to go the distance and trying to win 5 games versus 4 games versus 3.
Louisiana Tech doing a good job penetrating and pushing it back out. They're within 1.
That in-out game so strong for Louisiana Tech. Part of the reason why they're second in the conference in scoring. They do just a great job of opening up their shooters, allowing for that window to grow. And as the game goes along, the defense just gets more and more off balance because of the unpredictability.
Amari Archibald from straight away. Louisiana Tech in front 21-19.
Didn't even need the inside on that one, just straight out of the out. Pulling up from beyond the arc, keeping the defense off balance. It's like a changeup in baseball or a curveball.
Marco Sharenitz lost it on the sidelines. And here again, Louisiana Tech handing it off to Archibald. A couple of steps in, bang.
Got to be quicker on the rotation there if you're Kinsey. Can't get lost looking at the big man setting the screen. You have to keep your eye, keep a hand in the face of these shooters.
Archibald looking very confident out there. This time kicks it over to Stewart, back of the iron. David Early, ball in his hands. Freshman out of Logan, West Virginia. Kinsey lofting it up over Kenny Hunter, but it doesn't fall. Green, a lot of contact in the paint, going the other direction. A charge called against Green.
Great job from David Early getting back. He's just a freshman, but doesn't feel like one because he was that extra year of COVID eligibility, and he steps right in front. The Logan, West Virginia native who played in all 22 games last year, setting the feet right there just in time before Green came barreling in. That is a fun play for defenders. They relish the opportunity to take a charge like that.
On a big stage, play like that gets even bigger. Winner advancing to the quarterfinal round of the Conference USA Basketball Championship. Western Kentucky waiting on deck. Kinsey pulls up, no good.
That was such a crafty move from Kinsey. Expect him to go back to that. Didn't knock it down that time, but later in the game, he may repeat it.
Archibald in the paint with the shot. The foul is away from the basketball. Marshall gains possession.
Going back to one of the points you were mentioning about West Virginia being well represented in this roster for Marshall, and you kind of see it up and down Kentucky, Virginia. There's lots of that area up there that is well represented. And then Louisiana Tech, it's like you said, Arkansas, Texas, down in the Pelican State. There's so many different areas around these schools, that pipeline continuing to expand for both of these coaches.
2-point advantage for La Tech. Kick inside. Toussaint. Back out for Kinsey now. Baseline triple try. Good. That's Darius George, the senior from Staunton, Virginia. He had 5 last night, an early 3 here.
The 3 ball keeps falling. 6 triples now for Marshall here in this first half.
Stewart out to Archibald. This is Bradford driving. Got knocked away, he'll stay with Tech. Louisiana Tech hasn't had a basket in a little over 2 minutes. trail by 1. Having a hard time getting that ball in bounds. Beat 5 seconds. Archibald, 4 seconds left in the shot clock, losing control. Have to heave it up. Christian draws iron and an offensive rebound from Hunter. Not a very good look, but La Tech able to reset. Archibald takes it himself, left-hander follow.
Of his 96 career rebounds have been on the offensive end of the floor. He had one there, led to a bucket, had another one that led to a bucket early on as well. He does the extra gritty work as he makes his way to the bench after the free throw.
Young man has a wingspan of 7'4", just a freshman. Technically, Junior Lofton's also a freshman after being granted an extra year of eligibility, as were all student athletes last season. Firing from three-point land, well short by Sharenitz. Junior Lofton going over a couple of Thundering Herd.
6 points early on. Expect him to continue to be fed the rock. They want him going.
Taylor, long range. Offensive rebound pulled down by Byers, also fails.
Now Byers could have put that right back on the floor and attacked the cup. He kind of faded away. I think he expected more contact than what really ended up coming.
Williams off balance. Doesn't draw iron on that attempt. Under 7 minutes to go. Louisiana Tech's lead is 4 first half. Second round of the Conference USA Basketball Championship. Driving, Taylor, good, off the glass, falling away.
That is a hard shot to make, and I was reading through the scouting reports earlier. Can make some really tough shots was the first bullet point. Now I see why.
Whoever wrote that knew what they were talking about.
They're pretty spot on, right?
Xavier Christian over to Keyston Willis. Willis gets it right back. He goes down the left side of the lane, goes to the middle of the paint, drains it. 4-point Tech advantage.
This is what we anticipated. Back and forth, high flyers from both teams. Kinsey getting a break, but his teammates picking up the slack from downtown.
David Early, the 6'4" guard out of Logan, West Virginia.
Really like Early's game. He does a lot of things well. Just a gritty, defensive-minded player, but hey, he can score too.
Willis at the hole, pretty.
Buckle up. This one's gonna be a fun one.
We're having fun already. This one lasts all 40 minutes, and wow, Michael Byers gets that one down.
That's unbelievable.
Some delayed gratification there. It hung up on the rim and ends up falling for the Houston native.
Just fantastic. Marshall's made their last 3. La Tech's made 4 or 5. Byers, we know what he can do when March comes around. He does so many different things to score the basketball. That time with the floater in the lane. There's that second level. We've seen him hit the 3 from downtown. How about maybe on the drive next to complete the 3 levels?
Byers averaging 7 points per game. Already has that. Coming up on 5 minutes left in the first half. Lofton battling out to Willis. Good. And an offensive foul on Marshall. Darius George gets called for it. And Junior Lofton, not only great down low, also a fantastic distributor. He leads Louisiana Tech in assists during conference play.
Yeah, keeps his head up, looks into the corner. He is not only a scorer. He knows the type of attention that brings to him or that gravitates toward him from a defense. When he's down low, he knows it's going to open things up on the other end.
For Junior Lofton, since conference play began, he's at the top of the Tech leaderboard in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals. Christian and Archibald. And that's Willis missing and Junior Lofton bringing it down.
Good job by Byers of setting his feet.
third turnover. More importantly, second foul picked up by Lofton. 4.5 minutes left first half. So he'll likely sit for the majority of the rest of this period, if not the whole thing. 4.5 minutes, time for Marshall to make up some ground with Junior Lofton not available. Instead, it's going to be Kenny Hunter taking up space down low. Another great option for Louisiana Tech. Kobe Williams benefiting from the screen from Hunter. Kicked out to Williams. Floater, no good. Over the top of Byers. Marshall has made its last 3 shots. Still trailed by 4. Looking for 4 in a row. Can't get it. Offensive rebound. And kick back out to Taylor. Taylor, right side of the free throw line, no good.
He likes that elbow jumper. He's going to pull up from there. And more often than not, he'll knock it down.
Hunter, the freshman from Shreveport, pitching it back out to the sophomore from Dallas.
Great defense from Byers. Kept a hand up in the face, closing in quickly on the perimeter shooters from La Tech.
Coming up on 3 minutes to go, first half. Louisiana Tech 33, Marshall 29. Inside to Anachili Killen. Anachili Killen 1 for 6 from the field.
Yeah, he wanted that look too. He was calling for it even when the ball was up on top of the arc, and he knew that pick and roll was going to be there and got a great look at it.
Tech shooting just a bit better than Marshall so far, 45% to 37%. Knocked away. 6 turnover committed by Louisiana Tech. Marshall has given it away 5 times. Knocked loose. Williams on the break. Willis lays it home.
That was set up by Kobe Williams from the beginning. The pickoff jumped into the passing lane, got a hand on it, and then immediately shifted that with a one-handed pass to Willis on the run. Hit him in stride, and it was an easy lay-in from the 6'3" sophomore out of Sulphur Springs.
That ended a scoring drought of a little over 2 minutes for Tech. And now it's Marshall in a significant drought. They haven't put one in the basket in over 3 minutes. 5 seconds on the shot clock. 2 minutes on the game clock. Maybe not paying attention to that shot clock. An awful look.
On Marshall hit 4 of their first 5 from downtown. A team that does not hit the 3 very often. Well, they've done so 7 times here in this first half. The Bulldogs have to slow that down.
Inside, David Green denied by the big man, Byers.
Marshall has length, and they're using that to their advantage. Size is there, sure, from Louisiana Tech, but Marshall really does a good job of using the length to their advantage.
Off the front iron. A 4-minute scoring drought for the Thundering Herd. Louisiana Tech short on that triple try. Marshall's had a hard time holding on to the basketball lately, too. 4 turnovers in 4 minutes. Make that 5.
Yeah, that's a bugaboo. You cannot cough up the basketball as much as Coach D'Antoni's team has been doing so far. They throughout the season have done a nice job of forcing those turnovers, but then they turn around and they give it up almost at the same rate. In terms of that margin, it's very, very slim in favor of the Thundering Herd.
50 seconds left in the opening half. Archibald lofts one off the glass, no good.
In almost every single game that it's being played, but you also get the underdogs making the way to the NCAA tournament, and Champ Week, it's unlike anything else.
Here at the Star, you had 8 games today all together between Court A and Court B. It's a feast. 25 seconds left. Marshall gets a good look. Baseline, triple try, good by David Early.
His second so far this opening half. He does a lot of things well defensively. Been shooting the rock well, too.
Louisiana Tech has made only 1 of its last 7 attempts. Trying to get one last good look before the end of the half. Driving to the hole, Williams turns around, hits. And Louisiana Tech.
12th in percentage, 11th in makes per game. We'll see if that continues. Coach D'Antoni made it a point in that first half to attack from the perimeter. Can they keep up the hot shooting, or can they get Kinsey going in different ways?
Keaston Willis on defense there, offensively playing above his head so far, above his season average. 14 points this evening. 12 points per game on his season. As Michael Byers steps to the free throw line, he has 7 points, now 8. Also contributed 7 rebounds.
Now he's been all over the floor tonight. Can score a number of different ways and does so from the free throw line to get up to 9 points.
Marshall within 3.
This is a crucial time in the ball game. This is where you really get to set what exactly your halftime adjustments were. What did Coach Conkle, what did Coach D'Antoni talk about in the halftime break, and how are you going to execute it? These next 4 minutes, 5 minutes of this ball game could very well decide who ends up on top.
Junior Lofton re-enters. He's pushed by Milodinovic, the sophomore from Montenegro.
It's a much bigger contingency of Louisiana Tech fans in the building, but there is some green in the crowd, and they were not happy with that call. They felt like there was not enough contact and maybe a little more acting from Lofton Jr.'s side of things, falling into that baseline.
Junior misses his first free throw of the night. All-Conference USA first team. Those awards coming out on Monday. Saw some chatter on social media. Tech fans thinking that Lofton was deserving of Player of the Year honors.
Here's the thing. He was deserving of Player of the Year honors. He had the resume. He had, by all means, what it took to be Player of the Year. However, Walker also did. Tyler Perry from North Texas also did. There's so many good, solid players in this conference. It's not a knock on Kenneth Lofton Jr. that he didn't make it. It's more of a positive for the conference that there are so many talented individuals. This is the first time I've actually gotten to call a game. I really love watching him play. He does so many things well.
He's an international superstar now.
No doubt.
He went over to Latvia and helped Team USA to a gold medal last summer in the FIBA U19 World Cup.
Yeah, he was a key contributor in that win.
Lofton over his fellow big man, throwing it down against Byers.
How did he get up enough to make that an actual dunk?
Byers tries to counter. He does with the jumper.
Here we go again. We saw this in the first half.
Louisiana Tech leads 42-36. Marshall knocks it away. Taylor on the run. Junior Lofton bringing it down.
Lots of bodies tangled up in the low block there. I thought Taylor could have made the extra pass into the corner. He had a green jersey just camping out, nobody around from the Bulldogs side of things. Might have had a much better look than he ultimately ended up taking.
Junior Lofton, offensive foul. That's his third. But Lofton providing one of the biggest highlights of the night so far. Big man versus big man, rise. But then he commits the foul on the other side.
Yeah, on the dunk. That's where you see the heftiness of Lofton Jr. paying off. 270 pounds. And you back right into the 225 of Michael Byers. Doesn't matter with the length. And it's part of the reason why he's been against the big men all the way through, and he's played with some fantastic ones. Chet Holmgren right there in the number 7 for the Team USA side of things. Of course, a star now with the Gonzaga Bulldogs as well. There's lots of talent in those Team USA camps, and Lofton fit right in.
Lofton, some thought, should have been the MVP of that tournament. Didn't pick up the honor, going to a bigger name in Holmgren. But a huge contributor, bringing home the gold for the red, white, and blue of his country, and now trying to win a Conference USA championship for the red, white, and blue of this university.
Hey, there you go. Didn't get the Player of the Year, but hey, if he wins the tournament, you know he's much more happy than if he was named that player of the year. It's not about the superlatives. It's about the dancing.
That stardom, how much it will grow if he gets on the stage at March Madness.
Oh, he would be a fan favorite. I'm sure of it.
Feed down low. Knocked away. Kenny Hunter pumping his fist. The other Louisiana Tech big man.
That was a combined defensive play. Hunter with the block, and then Kobe Williams with the presence of mind to turn around and throw it off of the herd to give the possession back to the Bulldogs.
You mentioned a huge Louisiana Tech contingent here in Frisco as Willis pump fake, gets the basketball back, called for the double dribble. Plenty of Bulldog fans, short trip for them from the Ruston area. If they do win 4 games in 4 days and get into the NCAA tournament, maybe they get placed in Fort Worth for the first round, where there'll be another big Bulldog contingent.
Very, very good point. Dickies Arena hosting one of those regionals in March Madness. Fantastic facility over by the Stockyards in Fort Worth, and we saw it last year. This is a fantastic facility in its own right at the Ford Center at the Star. It filled up last year when North Texas and La Tech played. Those are 2 of the closer fan bases. 2 fan bases very much so invested in their ball club.
Kinsey now in double digits with 11. Has his team within 6.
I love the fight from this Marshall team.
Archibald put the ball on the floor. Tavion Kinsey turning it on. Of late, up to 11. Louisiana Tech retains possession. Keaston Willis gets the ball right back. In and out. Taylor pushes it back out to midcourt.
This is a big possession for the herd. You want to convert, bring it back within a couple extra shots.
A lot of good ball movement now. Under 10 on the shot clock. Taylor perfectly online.
And that's how you convert on a big possession, making it a 1-possession ball game. The Thundering Herd just do not go away. You look up and down the roster. Louisiana Tech is known as a talented ball club, but Marshall knows that they do not live up to the record that they put out there this season.
Under 10 on the shot for Williams. Bounce pass to Hunter. Knocked loose.
Bulldogs with 10 turnovers so far in this one.
Byers yelling for his teammate. Gets it right back and continues talking. Good communication from Marshall. Taylor steps back, can't drain it.
That would have sent the Marshall bench into hysterics.
Knocked away. Darius George with the swat. And Taylor on the other end feeds it over to Kinsey. Off the iron. Offensive rebound. Byers. Marshall with...
That's already showing itself over on court A.
Rice would face rival North Texas tomorrow in a Conference USA quarterfinal. The winner of our game between La Tech and Marshall gets Western Kentucky on Thursday. That's right back here on Court B, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. It's the Conference USA Basketball Championship from the Star in Frisco. Bradford pushing to the hole. Offensive foul.
Byers again shifting over just in time. Bradford a bit out of control, and it was a late whistle. He couldn't believe that he was the guilty party. Take a look here, but Byers plenty of time, set. And it looked like Bradford thought he was going to the free throw line instead of it going the other way.
Marshall can take the lead on this trip down the floor. They haven't led since the 12-minute mark. of the first half. They still don't. Amari Archibald has the most career games played in Louisiana Tech history. Wants to extend that streak by 4 more at the very least. Why not more than that? Louisiana Tech can advance to the dance. Archibald, top of the key, 3, no good as the shot clock expires. Rebound brought down by Byers. That's his 10th board.
What a game from Byers and what he's done. Now a double-double. He had shown that ability throughout his career.
And an offensive foul on the aforementioned Byers, his second. Well, for Louisiana Tech, Amari Archibald, Xavier Christian, they've been together for 5 years on this Louisiana Tech roster. 266 games between the two of them, and you see the progression in the picture as these young men have grown.
Yeah, they look happy in the second one. They've had a lot of time to get to play together, and they feel like they've had some success, and they absolutely have. You look at the 150 wins for Coach Conkle. Lofton's contributed to a bunch of them, but so has Archibald and Christian.
Junior now into double figures with 10 points. Also has 7 rebounds on the day. Despite missing a significant portion of the first half due to foul trouble, he has 3 fouls right now with 12 minutes left in the second half. Byers, wing 3, side of the iron, brought in by Kinsey, can't make the follow. Kicked around, Louisiana Tech trying to get it back. Stewart, Seasons. Wow, they can make it 5 in a row if they win tomorrow over the Herd and the Bulldogs. They sit at 19-12.
You know he's not satisfied with just 1 win. He doesn't want to get to 20. He knows how talented both of these teams are. He wants to make a run. Winner of that game would most likely play North Texas. Of course, they've got Rice coming up with their win over Charlotte today.
Can't overlook the Owls.
No, not at all.
Mean Green fan. This place will be rocking for that North Texas men's game tomorrow, no doubt about it.
Women play earlier in the morning, 11:30 tip for the North Texas women, who were the 2nd seed in the West. So lots of Mean Green going to be around here.
Junior Lofton making some noise.
You knew the highlight reels were going to show up at some point. And Lofton all alone in the lane. He's up to a dozen.
Taylor short. Whistle away from the basketball. Junior Lofton, 6 of 11 from the field. The latest, the most powerful of those field goals. Throwing it down as Byers backs away.
And Archibald took all of that Marshall defense away, and it's not a whole lot. You see Lofton all by himself in the paint, and when you do, he's going to take advantage.
Byers didn't want to end up on a poster.
I wouldn't either.
Hanging in dorm rooms in Ruston, Louisiana. And that's Caleb Stewart from Atascocita, Texas.
Marshall with just 1 of their last 9. They need a bucket to stop this run, and that's not necessarily going to help.
Threw it, nearly went out of bounds, but instead deflects off an official, and Green takes advantage. What a lucky...
It had been back and forth. Marshall had given every counterpunch needed to stay within striking distance. They need another one here.
Marshall firing from the outside, early off the mark, and Louisiana Tech will move quickly, get it out to Green, the freshman. Eric Conkle loves his pop off the bench.
They can strike so quickly.
Louisiana Tech with a double-digit lead. It's 55-43, 11-0. Now the run, and they can add to it here, but it's knocked away from Junior Lofton. Amari Archibald now with the ball in his hands.
Marshall can't buy a bucket right now. 1 of their last 11. They haven't scored in 5 minutes of gameplay. It's opened the door for La Tech, who all of a sudden can't miss from anywhere on the floor.
Up and under, blocked away. Fighting for the basketball. Kinsey feeds it to Early and back to Kinsey. Marshall had missed its last 8 shot attempts. Now they're within 10.
That was a big bucket to stop the run one, but also La Tech did everything they did back down the floor to negate the fast break, but the extra back and forth between Kinsey and Early pays off.
Lofton backing up his defender. Goes up and gets fouled. Lofton will head to the free throw line. He's 0 for 2 from the charity stripe so far tonight.
Milutinovic had an opportunity there. He stayed straight up. He's still pleading his case to the officials. I think he has a strong one. I thought Lofton did just as much to initiate that contact. He's never going to be called for a foul in that regard unless Milutinovic hits the floor. But I thought the 7-footer had done everything he could to keep his ground and to go straight up to the basket. But that's what Kenneth Lofton can do.
Marko Šarenac checks in, the sophomore from Serbia. And there's the numbers from Lofton tonight. 1 rebound away from a double-double. He has 16 of those on the season. That's top 10 in the country.
Now he wakes up in the morning and he's got a double-double. It's really all it takes for Lofton. He is almost automatic in that aspect of his game.
It's both free throws. Bulldogs extend the lead to 12. The Western Kentucky Hilltoppers waiting for the winner. Off the side of the iron, Byers brings it in. Byers up to 11 rebounds. Kinsey, swish.
If Marshall's going to climb back in it, they're going to need Kinsey to score more of those. Hit it early from beyond the arc. It was his first 3 triples in his last 6 games. He was one of his last 13 coming in, but I found the rhythm. They may need it again.
Again, Lofton backing off his defender. Puts it in over Byers. Lofton up to 16.
I'd love to see this contact. Early on, the officials letting teams play. There's the contact right there. Good call. Byers came down as Lofton went up, and that was definitely a foul on the herd. Haven't seen a lot of free throws throughout the game up until very late.
Lofton now 10 in the second half, make it 11. Junior, a first-team All-Conference USA selection, a gold medalist on the international level, helping Team USA win a FIBA Under-19 title. Andrew Taylor knocking it down on the other end. Marshall, cold from the field of late, 3 of their last 12. Feeding Lofton again. This time kicking it out to Willis. Willis short. Offensive foul.
Again, set up his teammates for success. The 12 points on 5 of 7 shooting. He didn't force the tough shots. He took what the 49ers gave him.
Carl Pierre adding 16 points and 8 rebounds for the Owls, who next face the North Texas Mean Green in the quarterfinals. The winner of this one gets Western Kentucky in the quarterfinals, and Junior Lofton trying to make sure it's the Bulldogs who see the toppers.
Oh, he's doing a pretty good job of that. He continues to put up great numbers.
In the paint, Kinsey, good, floating over Williams.
We saw these two dueling it out early on, and now Marshall's going to need Kinsey to outduel Lofton Jr. through the final 6.5. Who's going to step up and close this thing out?
10 points the difference. Lofton with the ball in his hands again, as he continues to do, backing off his defender, but this time the foul is called on Lofton, and that is his 4th.
That's huge. He can't play the same way with 4 fouls, and he knows it. You can see it. Byers this time underneath. There's not a whole lot of contact there. I really don't know. There's been some whistles down the stretch on both sides that have really been ticky-tack to a certain extent. You never want to get on the officials, but it's a complete flip-flop from what happened in that first half.
Lofton exits the game. Kenny Hunter enters, a capable player in his own right, a true freshman out of Shreveport. And he's been learning, facing off against Lofton every day at practice in Ruston.
Great defense, fantastic rotation from La Tech. That time down the floor, Kinsey just has not gotten a great look. Even some of the ones he's made down the stretch here, they have not been high percentage attempts.
Archibald hands to Williams. The Dallas native pulls up. Nearly drained it. That went around every part of the inside of that rim and then came out. Kinsey steps in, then steps back short. And Hunter immediately raising his hand. That's personal foul number 3 on him. Let's take a look at the bracket here in Frisco as Rice advances with a win over the Charlotte 49ers, an upset there, 5 seed over a 4. And now it's the Owls against the North Texas Mean Green tomorrow night. WKU waiting on Louisiana Tech and Marshall.
Don't sleep on the Rice Owls. That's going to be a really good ball game. I mentioned earlier, if they can get hot from 3, which they did, they hit 10 in that win against Charlotte. There's a chance that they could make a run.
Kinsey, he's up to 18. It'll stay there. Mad scramble for the basketball. And they'll whistle early as he dove for it.
If you're Kinsey, you can't miss 2 of those 3 free throws. That was huge. You were given an opportunity. There was the whistle on Hunter, who got underneath him to force the foul, and then a dive for the loose basketball, and early called for the whistle. I didn't think there was really any contact there either.
More whistles happening, and this one away from the basketball, and that's against Kinsey on the block, I believe. No, they'll call that on early, excuse me. From this distance, I saw one more finger on the official's hand than there actually were. 23 called for the foul early, and he has 2. Hunter knocks down the front end of a 1-and-1. Pumps his fist as he walks back towards the other side.
Big free throws down the stretch. You have to hit them in tournament play. If you can't hit free throws, could provide for some lengthy troubles along the way.
Hits both ends, and Louisiana Tech extends the lead to 11. Five minutes left in regulation. Andrew Taylor now inside to Kinsey. Cross court. And it's Chili Killen. Haven't heard much of him in the second half. Quick outlet to Hunter.
The same rotation, the same ball movement, the same effort just hasn't been there in this second half from Marshall. La Tech came out of the halftime break like a team that wanted it a little bit more, and right now it's paying off.
Byers driving against Christian, gets it to go. As you could see Christian backing off a bit, making sure he didn't pick up a foul. Louisiana Tech has 6 in the half. Marshall has 7. Both teams in the bonus.
Kenny Hunter has only 7 points in this ball game, but he has come in and had huge minutes with Lofton on the bench at the moment with those 4 fouls. And Really, La Tech has not skipped a beat whenever the freshman Hunter has been inserted into the ball game. He has really played good basketball.
Marshall from the paint. Can't get it to go. Rolled around, hit the backboard, and exited. Almost a walk there from Byers. Instead, he keeps it and missing. Williams and Willis working together. Williams keeps, rolls it in. Marshall looking for the quick answer. Kinsey over 2 Bulldogs. It goes.
Really needs to make some headway here in the next couple seconds after this free throw.
In addition to his 21 points now, Kinsey has 5 rebounds. Back to a 10-point differential. Williams, a product of Dallas Kimball High School. About 25 miles north of the Knights campus at the Ford Center.
I'm sure he has family, friends, former teammates maybe in the crowd. La Tech brought the Bulldog faithful, no doubt about it. They've been loud. You got to give a credit to the Marshall Thundering Herd as well. There's a lot of green in the stands behind us too that continue to be just as involved. There you go. Huntington, West Virginia, a little bit further away than where Ruston, Louisiana is here in Frisco.
Hop in the car mid-afternoon and be in Frisco in time for the game from Huntington. Works out well for Tech fans. They've enjoyed Frisco in many ways over the past few years. They participated in the Frisco Bowl, their football team, their baseball team playing in the Frisco College Baseball Classic. Regular trips to this city.
I've made that drive from Dallas to Huntington, West Virginia. Don't ask me why, but I definitely went up there. That is not a fun one. I've made the drive to Ruston much, much easier.
2.5 minutes to go. Williams, ball in his hand. He has 9 points, 4 of 9 from the field. Junior Lofton, 19 points, 9 rebounds. Again, backing off his defender as he plays with 4 fouls. Gets it to go. 21 for Junior.
And every time he backs down a defender like that, you have to take a deep breath if you're a La Tech fan, because you don't want that contact to be made and for his night to be over.
Driving to the hole, Byers kicking back out for Kinsey. Kinsey steps back beyond the line. It's short. Willis with the rebound. He's running 1-on-2. Thinks better of it. Pulls the ball back out. Louisiana Tech resets. Eric Conkle calming his team.
Yeah, settling him down on that far side, making sure that they know what's at stake. They want to kill some shot clock here. The clock is their friend at this point.
72-58, the Bulldog lead. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Driving, Archibald, back iron. Byers firing from way downtown. Willis to Williams. Louisiana Tech winding things down. 60 seconds remaining in regulation. The Tech lead is 11.
And there's the foul. I was about to say, when does the fouling start? Because may have wanted to do it as soon as they get past that half-court line, and Marshall unable to force the steal early on. You got to be quick on that foul if you want to start that process early.
11 points, 56.5 seconds. It would be a March miracle for Marshall, and it would take Louisiana Tech missing all of its freebies, and Willis drains the first.
I mentioned it a moment ago, 11 of 13 now. The Bulldogs just haven't missed free throws in this ball game, and that is a mark of a team that's destined for a run in March.
Junior Lofton leaves the ball game. What a performance by that young man. 21 points, just short of a double-double. He'll stay at 16 on the season on ESPN Plus at Conference USA venues. and thrilled to be back here at the Star for a third consecutive year, and of course teamed with you for back-to-back seasons.
Thank goodness. About time.
10 points the lead for Louisiana Tech. Fouling continues by Marshall. Probably no point to it anymore, but they will play out the stretch. I'm not sure the formula to make up 10 points in 41 seconds, though, Kyle.
Yeah, it's not a perfect one, no doubt about that, but what a year it's been for Marshall. It was a disappointing one. You can't really paint it any other way. They were picked to finish 4th in the preseason. Came in with just 12 wins into the postseason. Were 4-14 in conference play. They were riddled throughout with either injuries or just poor play. Definitely did not get into the rhythm that the Thundering Herd were expected to. Left a lot on the table, and you're not losing a ton of the production. I mean, Michael Byers won't be coming back. You have Darius George that's moving on, but for the most part, 4 of your 5 starters will be back in the rotation, including that guy, Tavian Kinsey, who feels like he's been a part of that program for quite some time, but he still has another year of eligibility left, and still lots to look forward to in Huntington. I feel like this is a team that's not done making noise in Champ Week just yet, at least going into next year.
Well, Lofton has checked back in for the end of this game, perhaps to pull down another rebound and get his 17th double-double. He's up to 21 points right now, 9 boards, and he is our player of the game, which is brought to you by Heritage Landscape Supply Group.
What a game he's had, and like I said earlier, he's just a joy to watch. He's feisty down low. He has the ability to stretch the floor. He knows how to go from the perimeter and let it fly from there, and then he knows how to set his teammates up for success and open up the offense. Just an all-around player and really a great talent for this Bulldogs program.
Kinsey, no good, and he'll head to the free throw line. Archibald called for the foul. And now it's Tech versus Western Kentucky tomorrow, which should be a really fun battle between those two teams. They last met on New Year's Day, and the Bulldogs won 74-75 at the Thomas Assembly Center.
That was a tight ball game, and one of which that put La Tech really on the map as an actual contender. And they've always been a contender underneath Eric Conkle, but put them on a path at the moment to say this team could really be something special, and they still believe that, especially after a win like this one.
One of the best in the West facing one of the best in the East in CUSA. Keaston Willis dribbling it out for La Tech. 10 seconds left. The Bulldogs moving on to the Conference USA quarterfinals. Winners over the Marshall Thundering